A paper plate speaker for less than $1 really is too good to be true. If you're trying to make it with aluminum foil and a penny, there's a better way to do it. So in this project, we're going to figure out exactly how to get this paper plate to make some noise. The idea of making a speaker out of a paper plate is intriguing, and to do it for under $1 is even better. But first we have to understand how a speaker works. I've still got these 8-ohm speakers from a TV I salvaged in a previous video, and I'll sacrifice this one in the name of discovery. I'll use a utility knife to cut the cone away from the surround, exposing the basket, as well as this yellow diaphragm known as a spider. I'll cut through that and snip these 2 wires, and I'm impressed at how simple a speaker really is. The bottom of the basket is attached to a strong ceramic magnet with a hole just big enough to allow this voice coil to vibrate in. Okay, we've got the basics. Now let's see if we can make one. We can use a foam bowl for the basket, an 8.5-inch paper plate for the speaker cone, 6 button magnets, and a piece of printer paper to form the voice coil. This brings our prorated cost to about 80 cents for this soon-to-be speaker. But what about insulated copper wire? That can be expensive, and where do we get it? Well, almost anything electronic will have some. You just have to know where to look. I know there's some inside this old TV, but I don't have a sledgehammer to bust it open, so I'm going to have to get creative. Okay, I'm down to the circuit boards, and there's the piece that I'm after, a small audio transformer. These things are packed tight with the perfect wire for this project. I'll use my pipe wrench pliers to rip that off the board, then use my bench vise to crack the ceramic casing off. I'll peel off the insulating tape, and voila! We've got ourselves a nice roll of insulated copper wire, for free. Okay, we're ready to start building, so let's make the voice coil first. Start by cutting a few strips of paper and rolling them around the stack of magnets. Once we have a couple layers taped in place, we can use a hot glue stick to help unravel some wire. I'll wrap the wire about 50 times and then use some hot glue to keep it in place. When that's cooled, we can pull the magnets and the inside layers of paper out, leaving just this shell. The voice coil is done, but it's too long, so let's snip it to size and then hot glue it to the bottom side of the paper plate. While that's drying, we can cut some holes in the sides of the bowl to make it look more like a proper speaker basket. The next step is to hot glue our magnet stack to the bottom and slide the coil over top to see how it fits. It moves freely because of the gap we made earlier, and it's looking good. So now we can hot glue the plate to the bowl and hit it with a little spray paint for aesthetics. When the paint dries, there's only one thing left to do, and that's remove the coating from the ends of the wires. So I'll do that with a lighter. Okay, it's ready for a test, so I'm hooking it up to my TV with some alligator clips to see what happens. Well, there you go. Our 80-cent speaker is working. And if a paper plate speaker for less than $1 really is too good to be true, then we can call this part of the myth unbusted. But it's not very loud. The magnets are cheap and weak, so let's try something stronger. I've got a super strong 1-inch N48 neodymium magnet I just got in the mail. We can roll that up and add some 26-gauge wire that came out of a sump pump motor and hot glue to secure it. The magnet and inner layers come out and the paper gets trimmed to size. Hot glue that to the plate and glue the lead wires right about here. This time let's use another plate as our base, and these markings are for some supports we'll need to build. Those can be made out of a third plate just by trimming out the bottom, folding them accordion style, and cutting into 2 pieces. I'm gluing them to our base plate with the feet facing inward, and these will act as a type of shock absorber for the speaker plate. Now we can add some glue to the tops and join them to the plate, making sure the coil is over top the magnet. A quick manual test, and it seems the suspension on this is perfect. I'll burn the coating off the tips of the wires, and now it's time to test this one out. I'm disconnecting the external speakers from my TV and using these alligator clips to connect the leads to our plate. I'm anxious to see how the paper plate does with the stronger magnet.
For this project, I'll need pennies. My neighbor Trevor gave me these. Okay, I've picked out 10 pennies.
That's pretty impressive.
So I'll use this 100
It's amazing to think that all that sound is coming from this flimsy little plate. But it is. Just for fun, I'm going to pour in some water to see what happens.
My neighbor Trevor gave me these, and I'll begin sorting them by date. I want pennies newer than 1982 because they're nearly 98%.
And that's probably the coolest thing I've seen all day. Well, that was a fun project. We unbusted a myth and made a huge mess in the living room. That's it for now. If you like this project, perhaps you'll like some of my others. Check them out at thekingofrandom.com.